Okay, everybody, I'm going to get started. We can see all of you who are joining us, and we have a live chat afterwards, so please stay on if you want to, we can interact. We're just going to obviously on one side be talking. Elisa is here, she's going to type to you. So any questions you have during the presentation, just type them to her and we'll answer them. It's totally, a back and forth conversation via texting right now, but then we'll open it up. So anyhow, thanks everybody for joining. My name is Julene. For those of you who don't know me, I've been with Panera for 23 years. Wow, I love it. 23 years, can you believe that? This is my mother. This is my mom, Linda. She's joining me today for our special family Thanksgiving tasting.
I'm so glad to be here with you.
Yes, she's now an official Panera star with us. I couldn't be at this job for 23 years if it wasn't for my mother. So she is a big part of this whole thing for me. I can only be successful, and beginning with her, there's always people behind the scenes, right? We all have people behind the scenes like Elisa. Well, this is my behind the scenes at home when I travel and everything. So thanks so much for joining us. We've got folks all over the United States right now with us. So some of you got the sweet kit, some of you got the dry kit, some of you got both. Oh yeah. So we're just going to go through. We're kind of mainly going to focus on the pairing part of this. I know a lot of you do know the winemakers, especially Christopher, the German wines obs. We know that Christopher is one of our favorites. Also one of my mom's favorite winemakers that we have. So we're going to go through chit chat. I've got a couple stories to tell about some of the other winemakers. That's really fascinating, but mainly just pairing. So let's get started with that. We've got our spread here of our Thanksgiving goodies. Obviously, Thanksgiving, you have a lot of mixed groups of people who like lots of different styles of wines, and you also have a lot of different food. So starting with, yes, so we're going to start with a couple of whites. Sometimes we separate these webinars into only dries and only sweets, but we're going to do it all obviously today. I'm going to start with our white from Germany, from Christopher. Again, I'm not going to go too deeply into the winemakers themselves, more about the pairing. So let's pour a little bit. Everybody get your bottle going. Is your bottle open and chilled? Let's do this. All right, Mom. Okay, so let's just get started with a little toast. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Mom, for joining us. Thank you, Elisa, for spending your Saturday with us. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Enjoy. All right. That's a nice one. So talking about the foods. So she's going to show you here some of the different wines that we've got going on.
Very nice.
So you're going to notice through the presentation, a lot of these wines are very low inventory. So these are things, if you like this, please get it. And I believe we still have time to get this by Thanksgiving. I'm pretty sure, if I can state that. Yes, I can. Okay, so everything you're tasting today, you will have by Thanksgiving. If there's other favorites of ours that you want to order as well, just let us know. So like you see, 5 cases available. So anyways, this is a beautiful bottle, first of all. Great presentation for the table. Sometimes you have guests over that want something that, people are like, oh, I love Chardonnay or something along those lines. Well, it's kind of fun to pour something different. This would be like an alternative for somebody who wants something that has maybe a little oak in it, a little bit heavier body. The Pinot Blanc, Pinot Gris gives you what you want in a maybe heading a little towards a Chardonnay style. Obviously, we know it's completely different, but it's nicer because it's a little bit lighter. This is going to be something, this one and then the other wine I'm going to open. So, when your guests come over and you have a cheese plate or some appetizers to start off with, something like this is really nice. The oak isn't really heavy in it. So it does still pair great, but it does give your guests something that they like. There's folks that like that oak in a white wine. So it's not overly oaky, but it gives them what they want. So you've got this one. Now, personally, myself, I find the second white, the Riesling Kerner blend, still in Germany, still with Christopher, of course. So something like this is ideal. This wine, I sell a lot of. We only have 9 cases left of it. Oh, wow. This is a very, very, very popular wine at the shows. This is something more like my mom's style. I'm a little bit more of a dry drinker. If I was there at dinner, I would probably go for this one, where she would go for this one. This is why we get full bottles each for each other on Thanksgiving, right, Mom?
That's right.
But this is definitely what I call a user-friendly wine. Riesling is popular for a reason. It's got a great balance of lightness and acidity. And it brings together like something like this. So now we're moving. You can still do this with some cheeses, but if you do want to have some whites, you probably offer like a red and a white to people with dinners. this is a great one because when you have all these heavy options, you've got the stuffing that's heavy, the mashed potatoes, the turkey, and then all the other fixings that you enjoy with your family on Thanksgiving, like maybe the green bean salad or something. This is perfect. This is what I call pulls it all together. You know, it's a nice balance. You like this wine, don't you, Mom?
Oh, absolutely. And if I am having people over, I do kind of tend to go to the Riesling if I'm not really sure, you know, what they're going to have, what they're going to like.
Right.
So
yeah, this is nice because it's not too sweet of a Riesling either, because Cabernet is giving you a perfect wine. Obviously, I pour wine for hundreds of people a year, and we usually start with a Cabernet, and this is where we gauge, do they like it sweeter, do they like it drier? But overall, it's usually, you know, folks do enjoy this wine. This Cabernet, it could be any type of Cabernet and sweetness level.
good table wine.
It's a great table wine, yeah. So blended with Kerner, of course. You know, we actually don't have a lot of Rieslings that we sell because we try to do things that are different, kind of out of the box. You can get lots of Riesling, but whenever we do get a Riesling, it is extremely popular. People like what they, you know, they know what they like. So, all right. So let's move on to, how we doing on times? Should we go on to the reds? All right. So let's move over to the reds now. You want a little bit, here, let me give you some wine, Mom, so you can make it through
again. I was
again.
hoping you would do that.
All right. So I'm going to start with the lighter of the reds. So I'm going to do the 2 dry reds, and then we are going to do the 2 fruity reds. We're going to start with Paradiso, Chianti. Oh, I should have poured you actually the red. So when you're done with that, you can try some of this one too, Mom. Or you can dump it right there if you want to. You want to do some of the red?
Well, we won't dump it.
Here, why don't you dump mine for me, and then don't. Okay. Oh shoot, I'm not supposed to do that here. Alcohol abuse. Well, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, right?
Julene, I noticed that wine is, you opened it earlier. Yes. So when you're serving a red wine, what is the time that you should open it prior to serving it?
Well, if you're going to leave it in the bottle, it will decant itself very slowly, you know. So something, this is a little bit of a lighter one, but I know your question, like with something heavier, like the one I'm going to talk about in just a second. You know, more importantly, this is kind of open it and drink it. Most of the wines that we sell, you know, they don't need a whole lot of decanting because we just want you to open it and drink it and get some more, you know. But yes, it is great to decant it, smooths it out a little bit. I mean, you could do something like 3 to 4 hours before you're going to pour it. Oh, but you also, you know, you can do more options, like something that you know is going to be a little heavier. This is heavy, earthy, very, very different than this one. So this one, I would lean more towards opening or even putting this in a decanter if you like. Obviously, we know the decanter, you only need about an hour. So when you open up your bottle while you're making your stuff and you have a glass with it, throw it in the decanter if you want. It's not 100% necessary, but you do see a difference in the flavors, especially something like this one. So popping back over here to the Chianti. So this is one of the winemakers I've been to multiple times in Tuscany. He is a great winemaker. You've probably had, you know, some different wines from him. He does a lot of different styles. This is a nice light one. So this is a very easy to drink. Here, taste a little wine. You okay. Doing that one.
And you know, just the name Chianti.
Chianti.
It's fun to take. Would you like some?
Yes. With Sangiovese grape, that's even funner to say. Chianti is made with Sangiovese grape. So you'll see why this is really good. This is light. It's not bone dry. Oh, yeah. See, she likes the sweet. She's more the red bottle Merlot drinker or Cabernet Mitos style. So something like this is exactly why I picked it, because it's something that 2 different palates can really love. And I'm sure you're tasting it right now. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. You can see this paired so perfectly with something like this.
I was going to say, even though I do tend to sweet wines, I could see having this wine with a certain meal, certain foods where it would just, you know, be exactly what you would want for your palate.
Yeah, like this may not be something you personally might drink by itself, but for food pairing, it's very fitting to your palate. I love this wine so much. This is just light, easy to drink. Sangiovese, obviously, Tuscany. David is, some of you know David. I think some of you out there have gone to Tuscany with us. So you have hopefully met David, or if you haven't, then you'll have to go with us to Tuscany and meet him. But David's awesome. But he makes his wines he makes for us are so broad. We have something like this, which is your easy like table type of drinking. I don't like the term table wine because I think people have like kind of a negative connotation associated with table wine. So I don't really like to use that term, but something that is delicious that you can put on your table that everyone is gonna like. If you want to call it a table wine, that's kind of what that is. Put it on your table and drink it.
That's right.
Any of them can be table wines, right? All of them are. You make a jacuzzi wine, this wine, picnic wine, breakfast wine. So David has some really heavy Sangioveses that are like on this full other range where you can almost chew it when you drink it. So the spectrum of wines he makes for us is what really blows me away. You go from something like this, and then he's got this whole lineup, and then you go to these like the Piccolo Artista, the Merlot. What's one of the other ones that we have from him? We have some of the bigger Eterno, right? Well, they're all mostly sold out, but those are some examples if any of you folks recognize like those names. But those are going to be his super heavy Sangioveses, which are amazing. You know, probably a little rich for a mixed crowd or something like this, but this is truly delicious and perfect for it.
Very, very nice.
Yes. All righty, so we're gonna pop over to South Africa now. I know some of you have probably had Luzernes. We have the Cabernet Franc from her. We have the Carmenere. Now this is Kay's Legacy. So this wine has an awesome story. This is where I'm going to take a minute to tell you a story about a great winemaker. And by the way, so this wine is currently sold out. You see right there at the bottom, there's 6 cases now, less than 6 cases. We actually, because this wine sold out prior to this event, we pulled some cases out to reserve specifically for all of you on this webinar.
That's nice.
So everywhere else it's sold out. So these are reserved just for you. So if this is something that you love today, please get it today, because when this is over, what's left, then you know, we're gonna go and sell it regularly to folks. So it's obviously nothing we take to an event. We can't bring something with 6 cases available anywhere. So anyways, this is specifically held for you folks. If you haven't had her wines before, we're tasting it right now. Very, very good. So this wine here is really special. So the whole story behind it, it's fascinating. So Kay's Legacy, she's the matriarch of this winery. We have Kay's Legacy, we have Sebastian Chardonnay, which is her husband. Then we have Ivan's Carmenere, which is their child. So it's really, really fascinating.
Family up there.
Yeah. They were the first South African family to produce Carmenere. Very first. That was rare in South Africa. So they wanted, when they began their winery, they wanted something that instantly would pull people to them. So they said, let's just do something that no one's ever done here before. So that's where they did the Carmenere. So this is going to be a blend. So all of the wines are fantastic. So they used to be duck farmers. That's where this duck is on the label. So all the 3 wines we have from them, the 3 reds, they all look identical. So you may see this and go, oh, I've had that before. Well, this one has the awards on it, so that's a little different. But they do all really, truly look identical. The only difference is, you know, the different names here, like Cab Franc, Carmenere, and then this Kay's Legacy blend. So it's a very, and then also, oh yeah, well, let's not forget this little tidbit of information. She won female winemaker of the year in 2021, international.
Oh my gosh.
International, 2 times.
Fantastic.
Can you believe that?
Oh, awesome.
South African female winemaker. She won winemaker of the whole world. And this is a person that we actually have their wines. This is a special story. If you ever want to read up a little bit more, they have a lot of information delving more into the story of this family, but just totally fascinating.
I love when there's a story behind things. And
yes.
When I get home, I'll be Googling.
Okay, so that's it for the dries now, and then we're gonna end with a little bit of the sweeter. So you also got, just to let y'all know, I guess I kind of went more into the family than really about food pairing with this one, but I really wanted to tell the story more about this particular family. Obviously, we can pair it deliciously with all the goods, you know. This would even be good with dessert. I mean, this is really heavy. This is a lot heavier. This is kind of oaky, smoky. This would be good with like chocolate too. or cigars, you know, with cigar wines.
Yeah, they're about the scars with chocolate.
I don't know if you've ever have you ever tried any of our South African wines before? You probably haven't because they're not fruity. Well, we have fruity now.
I don't, but I'm very curious.
Yeah.
I mean, with all those awards, oh yes.
They
They
have
something going on.
they have a different underlying tone in all the South African. They're like very earthy, kind of a lot smokier than like European style. So, but we have fantastic South African. We have always had amazing South African wines, really special. Sometimes I just wonder, where do we get so lucky to meet these winemakers like this? You know, that we have wine from. So we're blessed. So
yes, for sure you are.
So let's do one of the fruity, but so I think you guys all got the recipe for my granddad's stuffing, which is super exciting.
That's my dad.
Yes, her dad. So I think we sent you that. We wanted to do something fun with that. I actually made this morning. So I was gonna tell my mom, I didn't even tell her this yet, but so this is actually our old family bowl of ours as well. Now my mom's father's passed away, so that's my granddad. So, but we were really close. He lived here in San Diego. They lived in San Diego most of my childhood, so we've spent a lot of time with them. So this is an old family bowl of ours, which I didn't even tell her we had today. But anyway,
I didn't even know that was still around.
I just wanted to say something really fast because when I was a little kid, I remember my grandparents would get up at like 3 or 4 in the morning to start making Thanksgiving, which now my whole life I thought, oh my God, you have to get up so early. I realized you don't. But I thought that was always what I grew up with. I'm like, what? I felt when I was an adult, I'm like, oh, we have to get up at 4 to do this whole process, right?
You don't.
But the interesting part was he would take all the loaves of bread and he would set the bread out and the bread would be all get dried, and get ready for this. Well, that's what I did yesterday. I went to the store, I bought the bread, I laid it out in my house, and it sat there like until this morning.
Oh my God.
And so I had to tell Summer, of course, I'm like, well, there's a bunch of bread, laying out, just we're waiting for it to get crispy. So we were flipping it over. So then this morning I took it all and I don't know, just reminding my granddad, that's how we always had it, was just two loaves of bread you see in the recipe. And he liked to put oysters in his, but we didn't.
Yeah, he'd always have a little side bowl. And just because we loved him so much and we wanted to support him. So sometimes we'd have just a little wine, But
yeah, oh, there you go. Yeah,
that was a big thing. My dad always made the dressing and he always made it in a certain pan, big pan.
I remember.
And one of my sisters still has that pan and she still makes her dressing in it. Believe me, it's got a lot of dents in it. It's been around. Well, I don't even remember when it wasn't around.
Yeah, look, there's the recipe, Mom. That's the old recipe card. But yeah, so I think that the other recipe card that went with this was his version with the oysters in it. So yeah, he would make there. So yeah, he would make one for ours. Yeah. And then oysters for him. I don't think I ever one time tried the oyster one. It never appealed to me ever. So unfortunately I didn't try it. So let's move over now to some of the best turkey pairing wines that we have. Who loves our fruity reds?
That'd be me.
So I think every single person out there is familiar with our fruity reds from Germany. Now, obviously not everybody gets them because people like dries, but these are something that are really special to us and just unique. One of my favorite things about my job is when somebody comes into the table to try wine and they don't know what they like or they don't like wine, basically they say, once we pour them, these fruity reds from Germany and their faces light up. This is what I love. I love when people finally realize there's actually a wine that I can drink that I like, because people have a view of wines only being like this, these dry, earthy ones or an oaky Chardonnay.
I guess it's what you've been exposed to.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes when I waited tables, people, what kind of wine would you like? They would just be like, oh, a Chardonnay. Did they really like Chardonnay? No, maybe not, but they ordered it because they were at a restaurant and maybe their friend ordered it and they just felt like it was the thing to do. But are they really enjoying the glass of it?
I know. I never quite understood why Chardonnay came up a lot, but I can tell you that the only Chardonnay I like is your Chardonnay.
That neon green bottle that just arrived 2 days ago.
Panera Chardonnay. I don't know the whole name of it, but.
Well, you used to be only Beringer White Zinfandel. Let me chat about this, and then we'll talk about your old Beringer days. Thank God we're not in those anymore. Okay, let's do the new red velvet. So you probably recognize red velvet. We have had it in the past. It's a different blend, so it's not the same red velvet we had. This one is the Merlot and the Regent. I think it's set, what is this, 72 Merlot and 28% Regent. So this is why, you know, whenever you have a blend from us, it's a one-time deal. Are we ever going to have a wine that has 78% Merlot, or what was it, 72? Are we ever going to have a wine again, Lisa, with 72% Merlot and 28% Regent?
Never.
Probably not. So these are one-time deals. You know, that's whenever you like a blend from us, you know, with specifically, I'm just talking, well, any blend actually, but just bring it up because of these ones, because people do love our fruity reds, and they're like, oh my God, where's that Regent that you had, you know, 3 years ago? Usually a one-time deal. Yes, it has the same name as the previous one, but it's a completely different wine. So this one you can do chilled or room temperature. This one has more of a dry finish than some of the other fruity ones, like the one I'm going to talk about next. This one room temperature could be something that like a crowd could like, because it won't be as sweet as the super fruity reds, like the red Merlot in the red bottle. This is going to have more of a dry finish. So it gives you both. It gives you the best of both worlds.
What is a dry finish?
It gives you. Well, we're gonna have to open it and see. Let's. Oh, I'm gonna have to do this one.
Okay. I need to throw it away, but
all right, this is what we call a dry finish, Baba. Fruity with the dry finish. So you try that one and see what you think, because you're very familiar with our fruity reds. So might see how it has maybe more of a dry finish. So my
name is great too.
Yeah.
So this is wonderful. So it is sweet, but it doesn't hold the sweet like in your mouth. Maybe that's what you mean by that dry finish. So it's not overwhelming, but it definitely satisfies the sweet palate. Oh.
I always joke with people about Thanksgiving around this time of year because we always like to do the cranberries, you know, with the turkey, but we don't even deal with cranberries. We just deal with wine. Just don't even do the cranberries. All you need is the wine and the turkey, because this is your cranberries. Isn't that good?
This is really awesome.
Yeah.
Oh.
So yes, so that's your red velvet. Now you could do it. Now you would probably like it chill, but you can see how you can.
But even room temperature is fantastic.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit smoother. You know, this is stainless steel aged. You know, both of these there's no oak in either one of these. These are aged in the stainless steel barrels. So, yeah, so that's really exciting. Obviously, the Merlot is that red bottle Merlot half, and then Regent. So, so that's a nice one. And then the last one we're going to do is going to be the Cabernet Mitos and Dornfelder. So the Mitos is. Do you think, Elisa? Do you think I need to? You spread it out. Okay, so we're gonna do the Mitos. So the regular Mitos that you folks are familiar with, some of you with the handles on the bottle, well, those aren't here anymore, the handles either. That is gone. I just sold all of it yesterday. Bye-bye Mitos for now. It'll be back, but not for a really long time, because we're getting lots of containers from Germany and all over right now. So, so this is the next best thing. We've got a Cabernet Mitos and Dornfelder blend, and then this is going to be 67% Mitos and 33% Dornfelder. So this will be, since you've opened yours and are drinking it, this is going to be much juicier than the red velvet. So it's going to have a much fuller body. The Cabernet Mitos itself is a much fuller bodied great wine. And then the Dornfelder, of course, we know we love that. I just Googled it. So a lot of people like to tell me that Cabernet Mitos isn't even really a great, well, it is. I Googled it last night. Some folks go, what is this Cabernet Mitos? So this is a really nice one. And you like the handle bottle. You remember the Mitos and the handle bottle, the thick, thick sweet red. So this is going to be, the Mitos, this is going to be sweeter than this one that you have there. Let me look at this is
Cabernet Mitos. I just love that one.
So yeah, the red velvet is 11% alcohol, which is a really nice kind of a middle of the road percentage wise, meaning that it's more of the middle of the road when it comes to sweet and dry. Now, only percentages of alcohol make a big deal in the different flavors. Did you know that? I mean, not flavors, excuse me, the different sweetness levels. So something that's really, really dry, you're looking at like 13–14%.
Okay.
And then something like the ones you like, and like this one is 9%.
Oh, okay.
So only a difference of a few percentages of alcohol can make a big difference in the sweetness and the dryness of the wine.
So that means I actually could drink more wine and still be able to walk across the room.
Exactly. This is our staples pitch I use, Mom, all the time. Always. That's what I tell people. I say you can enjoy more. First of all, you all probably already know this. This isn't new information with the low sulfites in our wines. You know, these are organic and low sulfites. But that is what I tell people. If you like this, it's lower alcohol, obviously lower sulfites, and so you can drink more, and you're not going to get tipsy. You're just going to be able to actually enjoy it. You know what I mean, without getting loopy and without having a hangover.
You know, once in a while when I talk to a friend about, vanilla wines, and they'll go, oh, I don't really like wine. I always get a headache from it. And I go, oh, you get a headache because of the sulfites, right?
Yeah.
Got a lot of it right there.
Mm-hmm.
So then I say, you've got to try the vanilla wines.
Mm-hmm.
And it's true because I actually used to get headaches from the wines I used to drink.
The Beringer, the white
The Beringer White Zinfandel. I can't believe I ever thought that was really a good wine. And when I was with my friends, it was always Beringer White Zinfandel. And then when Julene went to work for Venera, and then I got introduced to some really nice, really good wines. I found myself probably a couple of years later out at a restaurant and wanted to order wine. And of course they didn't have Venera wines on the menu. So I thought, oh, here's Beringer White Zinfandel. I drink that all the time. I'll just get that. So she brought it over. And then I called the server back and I said, something is wrong with this wine. And I was totally serious. I said, something is wrong with this wine. It tastes terrible. I used to drink this all the time and I liked it. This is horrible. I said, I'm sure it's just a bad bottle. So she did take it back. But it wasn't long until I realized my palate had changed.
It was the wine. Isn't that amazing?
It was the wine.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Oh my gosh.
Oh, I haven't.
How we doing on our questions, Elisa?
We have actually a comment from Eric Pello. He's been on many of our virtual tastings, and he said that the red velvet would be a great wine with the turkey, like you had mentioned.
Exactly. Yes. That's where these. I mean, I honestly think one of the hands down best food pairings is the fruity red and the turkey, because it's, they just go, or pork. I mean, but we're doing turkey today because of Thanksgiving, but these fruity reds are so versatile. These are, you don't have to get fancy when it comes to food pairing. So for example, you can stand here and say, oh, this pair is so good with scampi, with what are those white little round things? Scallops, but is this realistic? Are we making scallops and scampi every night at dinner? No, we're not. Yes, of course, once in a while it's wonderful, but you want these wines to pair with your everyday life, These are great barbecue wines, burger wines. I mean, you got a barbecue with a beautiful fruity red, maybe some spicy barbecue sauce, ribs, something like that. Can you imagine ribs with this, or even pizza? I mean, pizza is fantastic. Just your basic everyday meals is what we want you to pair the wines with. We are focusing on and having some fun with these Thanksgiving pairings. Food and wine pairing is just a fun experiment. You're gonna drink what you want with what you want. But when you do get to explore it a little bit, people are always curious about it. They always at the wine tastings ask about, what does this pair with best? So it is kind of fun to get an understanding of what goes with what. But you know what? There's no rules. You don't have to follow any kind of rules out there, what you want to pair with what you want to pair. But it does bring out the best in the wine and the best in the food.
Well, that's it. You get that. If you get the opportunity to do pairing, then yes, you go, wow, this turkey tastes better than it did last year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she's got a different wine.
Mm-hmm.
Although I'm with you, hey, whatever you want, you can serve.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the mood for it.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how you're talking about whether it's pizza or barbecue. When you sit down to a meal, it's funny how that meal becomes an event when the wine comes onto the table.
Yeah.
It changes the whole pulse of the dinner. It becomes something a little more special.
Yeah, and you're so right. And it's just it's a bottle of wine that's changing that, and you know, we drink these bottles of wine, you know, we fortunately, a lot of our clients, you know, have gotten to meet the winemakers, and brought it a little bit closer and closer to your heart about it. But any wine, whether it's this or something else, you think this is someone's entire livelihood that's in this bottle, you know, an entire, these are farmers, you know, these are people that are working in these fields, in the field doing this, you know, that this is their prized possession right here. And then we, fortunately, you know, we get to enjoy it at a dinner one time, but like you just said, like just the one bottle can elevate the meal, and it doesn't have to be something amazing and special. And it doesn't have to be a $70 bottle of wine. But you know, life is so short. Drink good wine. I mean, it's the truth.
And not only that, when you think about sharing a meal with people, if you stop and think about your beverages, this is the only beverage I know that people want to share with each other. You know, if you've got a margarita, which is certainly good, you know, you're not really sharing that with a person, or, you know, but with wine drinkers are good sharers. Some of the conversation, you've got to taste it. You know?
Oh, yeah,
And
totally.
not only that, they want to share with you. You know,
Yeah, and it becomes a conversation piece. You know, it's a wonderful conversation piece. This is why at your Thanksgiving meal, I mean, who doesn't want to have, first of all, these beautiful bottles, but then you have this great wine that comes out of them. I mean, look, our entire company is built on word of mouth. You know, everything that Venera and Schlossadler, like I said, 22 years with the company, and everything's built on word of mouth. You know, our clients enjoy the wines and they want to share with other people. That's such a great point. They want to share. They want their friends to try this wine, and then all of a sudden their friend loved it, and then all of a sudden their friend is ordering it, and that's really how this whole, you know, company is built. We're a really small company, but we have a lot of awesome clients that I can't wait to chat with after here too. So yes. So what else we got going on, Lisa? I'm going to show the different options of the buying. Okay, so Elisa's going to put up a couple screenshots for you. So I know that some of you have other wine reps that you work with in our company, and that is perfectly fine. You're not stepping on anybody's toes at all. There's my cell phone number. I'm a big texter, or you can call me or email me. I'm happy to help you get the order in. You're not going to, you know, no one's going to step on any toes or anything. I'm here to help. We work as a team at this company. So if you find something today that you want, you see it, just shoot me a text and I will let your other wine reps know, and we'll take care of it, especially because the inventory is very low. So if the sooner you get the orders in, the better for this. And plus you're going to have it by Thanksgiving. You know, it's all fresh in your mind, what you've done. So, and I think she's also going to put up, you know, what it would cost you to get the case mixture too. So if you are interested in getting like all three of the dries that you did get, like, here we go. So there's the combinations. If you just want a case of the fruity, there's the price for you right there. There's the case of the all dry wines, and then all reds over here. So she's got it kind of mixed up. You can mix and match them any way you want to now. You know, with the pricing in the bottles, you can put anything in a case that you'd like. 12 of one kind, 6 and 6. There's your 6 and 6s. You do save a little bit money if you do only get 6 and 6. But when you do mix it up a little bit more, the price goes up slightly, but really only 10%, like it says right there. So, yeah. So shall we, what's that?
Raise your hand for the reps or for the customers that would like to join.
Oh, Elisa says to raise your hand. So we're going to open it up to conversation now. I hope you all stay on here, please. If you have any questions or just want to chit chat a little bit, I mean, please, I wholeheartedly invite you to stay and be on with us.